What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a next instalment on Project T5. Now, if you've been following the series and watching what we've been doing, we've been focusing on the way that the van looks, really. We've got it looking a hell of a lot better. So now is the time for some mechanical work to make it drive better. I have already done a few bits as I've been going along. So I've replaced all of the boost pipes on the intercooler because they were all of the joins were damaged and screwed together and all sorts. So I've taken all of that apart. I've replaced all of those already, and I've got a nice pile of bits down here ready to go on. So I've got a pair of drive shafts because the CV boots have gone on both of them, and for the money, it's easier to just replace the drive shafts than it is to try and change the boots because they're an absolute nightmare. I've got a oil cooler. Now, it is using a bit of water. And a common fault on these 198XB engines is the oil cooler fails, which then mixes water in the oil. So for the sake of the 50 quid it was, I've ordered one of those. We'll try it and hopefully it cures the problem. Oil and coolant, because we're changing the oil cooler. We're going to service it anyway, so I've got oil filter, fuel filter, oil filter, diesel filter, air filter and pollen filter with the oil. I've got two new rear ABS sensors because both of them are gone. They're a nightmare to get out. I had to end up having to drill them out and use a drift to knock them out. They're a nightmare to get them out, but they're out. And I've also got a N75 valve, or as it's referred to, a moo valve. Now this isn't making the moo noise that a lot of them do, which is why you change them. This has got a boost problem. So from 1,000 to 2,000 revs, there's no boost. You hit 2,000 revs and it comes on as it should do. I thought it was something to do with it losing boost in the boost hoses, which is why I've replaced them. They did need changing anyway because they were leaking, so it wasn't helping. But we're going to replace the boost control valve, the N75 valve, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that solves the issue. I have had a play with the turbo. There's no play, there's no end float. It seems okay. There's oil in it, which there should be a bit of. It's not that bad. The intercooler's okay. So I'm fingers crossed, I'm hoping that will sort this issue out. Right, let's just get this camera set up and make a start, really.
Save me, no, and don't come running to blame me. From miles away, I can tell that something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk, I think you said enough. You said your love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in your car. Let me see who you are, who you really are. Yeah. Don't need you here to say you're sorry, 'cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No, I just gotta know if you're gonna leave me, then just do it.
N75 valve. This is the old one. So you've got electrical connector at the bottom, 3 hose connections, and then you've got 2 nut and bolts that hold it on. Now, where is it located? It is located just here. Just rest this down somewhere. There we go. So, you're under the bonnet, you've got this ball here, which I imagine is some sort of accumulator, vacuum accumulator. In here you've got this new bit of plastic, if you can see. I don't really want to get the camera too dirty, but there it is. You've got up on here, I'll show you from the top. See this plate that's got 2 circles on it? They're threaded on a rubber, camera to focus, they're threaded. They go all the way through, and underneath is a 10mm nut, which you might just be able to see in there. See, that's just focused on. 2 10mm nuts, 1 electrical connection, 3 hoses. Undo those. valve comes out, new one goes in the exact reverse. The footage I had yesterday of me doing it start to finish was 5 minutes. So yeah, really is a 5-minute mod. Nice and easy. Not sure whether it's going to have made any difference or not. I'm hoping it has. I'm not holding my breath. So yeah, that was that. Right, got it jacked up. Let's make a start on servicing it and get its oil cooler changed. So the first thing I'm going to do is drop the coolant, then I'll drop the oil, and then we'll whip this oil cooler off. Let's make a start.
Let's be honest for a second. Yeah, you're being over your head, babe. 'Cause there is no one other than me that can make you feel the way you feel when I hold you. I think I said enough. You said your love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are.
So the filter, the oil filter, is a replaceable cartridge type. The old one, there's a new one, just clips in. It's got a new O-ring on the end. Just clip that into the housing, like that. And there's an O-ring. My little screwdriver's gone. I don't know where it's gone. And the little one's gonna have to use this. There's a little O-ring, or big O-ring, up at the top. Comes off. New one. In the box. I just get a little bit of engine oil, old engine oil. Rub it around the seal. Rub it around the end of the little bit as well, so that you know it's going to work. I'll pop the new seal on.
Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No.
New seal in place, new seal on the end. Chuck it back in. Good morning, welcome back. Did my usual thing yesterday. Didn't really do a lot in the morning, did a bit in the afternoon. Didn't realise what the time was. Then something started rumbling, so stopped, dropped tools, went and had some dinner, then had a little nap, and then it was too late to come out again. So, new day, time to get the van finished, back on the ground and running again. So I didn't really go putting the camera under the van when I was doing things yesterday because it's a new camera and I didn't really want to go getting oil and coolant and dirt and grime all over it. So I'll just take it under and out and show you what I did yesterday. Right, under the bonnet. Just there, you can see that illuminated, that big nut, is the oil filter housing. I think that's a 32mm socket. Under here, you've got just there, that nice shiny new bit. That is the oil filter housing. So you've got two hoses to take off, which are with these clips, which are nice and kindly at the top, so are a nightmare to get to. I've turn around to the bottom to make it easier. And you've got this nut here, which is a 30mm, and that's just got a bolt that goes all the way through the middle, seal on the end of here, and a seal on the other side of the oil cooler. Obviously there's coolant in these pipes, being a cooler. So you want to put a bucket in here because this is quite a low point. There will be coolant in there and it will go everywhere, which it did yesterday. So oil cooler's there. Oil filter is directly above it. You can see that round cylinder bit above. That's above it. That's that. Sump bung is under there. 19mm spanner. Nice and easy. Today's job then is going to be to fill it up with coolant. Fill it up with oil, run it all up, make sure there's no airlocks in it or anything, and hopefully we're all good. So, as part of the service as well, we've got a new air filter to go in and a new diesel filter to go in. Air filter is simple to change. Changing the air filter then, in here, this is the air box, you've got a clip here, which from underneath clips up. There's one down the back as well, which does the same thing down there. That is all the clips that hold it in. In this end, it's held in with, it's like clipped in, if you can, camera will focus. Focus, go on. Go on, you can do it. In there, I'll show you when I take it out. There are these that sort of push in there. So it's super simple to take out. Pull that up out of the way like that. Into here. Just lift the filter out. Filter doesn't look that bad, to be honest. There's the old one. Let's put new one in. So you can get it off without doing this, but you can't get it back in. So you've got to undo this hose clip here, which are a nightmare. I use a pair of water pump pliers on it. Like that. Pop that over there out of the way. And we'll pull that off like that. And then this air box, you've got these little finger bits here. You've got to go in to like that, push it down, clips back on the other side, like that. Push your hose back on, like that. Pliers. Put your clip back on. A little something like that. That's your air filter. Easy as that. Right. Next thing to change, diesel filter, fuel filter. This is the new one. Bit of a monster. That is located underneath to one side of the header tank on the sort of the side of the battery compartment. So 2 torque screws to undo, move the header tank out of the way, and that will then give us access to the fuel filter. So move that out of the way, that gives us access now. So in it we've got 10mm bolt there with a captive nut that you undo that clamps the filter in place. You've then got these push terminals or push plugs, which I'll use a screwdriver just to push the pin in to lift them up. And then the filter, if you can see there and that, it's got markings on it, which this one has got markings on it, so it all goes in the right place, but it's also got a locating lug on the bottom, so you can't really get it in the wrong way around. So I'll go and grab a spanner, we'll undo that, I'll get a screwdriver, we'll whip these bits out and we'll change this out. So I don't want to get diesel all over my hands, so a pair of gloves. So that's now loose, little clips. It says that one's off. That one's off. That one's off. That one's off. Lift them out of the way, pull the filter out. He says, is it stuck? Out comes that filter, watch it because it's got diesel in, you don't want to go spilling that. New filter goes in. Into its little locating pin, covers off. And pretty much all of these pipes go where they want to go. Clip back on, job done, do this back up. So nice and tight. Header tank back in place. Put back on. Done. Screws. And that's how easy it is to change the air filter and the diesel filter. I will turn the ignition on and off a few times just to let the pump prime the filter again. So when we start it up, it'll run. Next thing, chuck some oil in it, chuck some coolant in it. Then I really need to nip to the garage and get some diesel because we haven't got enough diesel in it. The light's been on for quite a long time. I haven't really moved it much, but if I go leaving it running, it's going to run out of fuel. So, get some oil in it, get a bit of coolant in it, and I'll nip to the garage and get some diesel. Always just worth a quick check, you actually put the sump plug back in. So this engine takes 5.8 litres of oil. So what I've done is I've just put 5 litres in for now, and then we'll run the engine up to get it in the oil filter and everywhere else that it needs to be, the oil cooler filled and everything, and then give it a few minutes just to do its thing. Make sure that we've got oil pressure on the dash, it's not light's not come on. And then we'll top it up a bit more on the dipstick as you normally would do anyway. Like I say, coolant, from what I've been told and from memory, it's about 9 litres. So, put it in, you might not be able to see it, the shadow, but there's about that much left in it. So we've about put 3 litres in out of a 5 litre container. We'll top that up with water now. Now the ideal way of doing this is to pre-mix your antifreeze and water in a watering can so you get your ratios right of what you need to. But I don't think the mother-in-law would have been very happy with me putting antifreeze in the watering can that she uses to water flowers and give ponies water and things, so yeah, maybe not the best idea. I've ordered one, but as with them, most things, it ain't turned up yet, so let's get this in. Something that doesn't always get changed necessarily on a service, be it for whatever reason, is pollen filter. So the pollen filter is what filters the air that comes in from outside into the cab of the van or the cabin of the van, and goes through your heaters and your blowers and everything like that. These, for some reason, don't always get changed. So we bought one of them, and I'll show you now where it is and how to change it. So the pollen filter is under the dashboard on the passenger side. I took this screw out, undo these screws, I think it's 3 screws along the front, T20 torque screws, undo those, and this pulls out just like that goes out the way. Then 6mm socket from memory. So when you remove that cover, under here you've got a bolt there, and there's one just up here as well which you can't see, and they are a 5.5 awkward, right, mil standard socket. I could ideally have done with an extension. That one's undone. That one's undone. Letting down like that, and this looks like it's not been changed for a long time. The state of it. And then you got to try and pull it out. I'm gonna have to get the Eva out after this. Crusty. Oh yeah, look at that. I think it's safe to say that compared to that is a bit different and well worth doing, because that has got leaves and dirt both sides, so that is pulling in horrible stuff into the cab. So yeah, that one we get rid of. This one we can put in. When you're putting it in, you've got this end of the filter is flat, no lip. This end of the filter, see that little lip there? That little lip goes at the back. There's a little cutout there for it, so it goes that way. That slides in there, like that, and then slides up, home up there out of the way. Cover back on. It says, right, so screws back in. That. Switch ratchet round. That one's in. That one's in. And then just a case of putting that trim back on. And it's just a case of putting that trim back on, getting the hoover out to get rid of the leaves. That is how simple it is. So, been got diesel, it's all in, it's nice. It runs, it does what it's done. I've got it up to temperature. We've got the water at the right level. Been checking the oil and everything, that's all okay. It hasn't sorted the problem. The oil cooler's not sorted out the problem, I don't think. When the van's running and you've got the cap off the header tank, water's all sitting where it needs to be, but there's smoke coming out of the header tank, not steam. It's I think it's smoke from like combustion. When you put the lid on and you've got the system pressurised and you run the van, it will go from the maximum mark to below the minimum mark in 40 seconds, maybe, when the van's at temperature. I think the egg gasket's gone on it. I think. I think it's the water getting into the combustion chamber is what it is. Might be wrong. I don't know everything. I haven't done mechanicking on this sort of like level or engines and that for many years, probably 15 years. But having said that, let's jump in it and see if this N75 valve has cured the other problem or not. That's the light coming on, because what I thought was rear ABS sensors is what the code that it came up with. Apparently that's not cured that problem either, which yeah, is something else I'm going to have to now go deeper and look into further. So if anyone's got any ideas on that one, let me know in the comments what you think it could possibly be. The fuel light's coming on because I've only just chucked 5 worth of fuel in. But yeah, if you've got any ideas of what the what else it could be other than the ABS sensors, I've got a mate coming over again with his scanner for us to have a look. But I'll just back down here and just drive, private drive, and we'll give it a run and see what it does. I'm not holding out too much hope that it's going to have fixed the problem, if I'm too honest, or if I'm honest. Right back down here, gives a nice run up. So, what we've got, we're at idle, pull off, foot down, nothing, and then it goes. You can hear the engines, and then let's see, second gear, nothing, put your foot down, nothing, 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 and then it pulls. So, anyone got any ideas on what that could be? Because I don't really know. I've tried to do research on the internet, I've tried to sort of talk to people, and what I was told was it was more than likely the N75 valve, which is what I've changed, but apparently it's not. So what we've done is pretty much a waste of time so far on the mechanical side of things. Like I said, I've got a friend coming over with a scanner, so we will scan it again, see what's what. yeah, not the best way to end this episode, really. If anyone's got any ideas on any of the issues that are in this with possibly the head gasket, the ABS light, and now the boost issue that I thought I was going to have solved, please do drop a comment. So I don't know everything. I'm giving it my best go, but yeah, I think we'll leave this one there. As ever, thank you so much for watching. It really, really does mean a lot. Do really appreciate it. If you don't already, like and subscribe to the channel. If you've not watched any of the videos on this build series, click here for a link to episode 1. And if you want to click subscribe to the channel, you don't already, click here to subscribe. So, not quite what we wanted, but yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much. Until next time, enjoy.